This wasn't a world final. It wasn't even official. But on August 23, 2025 in Queensland, Gout Gout ran 9.94 in the 100 meters at just 17 years old. Unofficial or not, that single run has the sprinting world holding its breath. Gout Gout was born in December 2007 in Ipswich, Queensland, the son of South Sudanese parents who came to Australia for a better life. Like many kids, he played soccer at first. But at 12 years old, during a school carnival, everything changed. Coaches saw something in his stride, smooth, strong, almost effortless. They knew they had found someone rare. Have you ever had a moment where your life's path shifted in a single day? For Gout, that school carnival was the start. By 14 years old, Gout was already faster than some of the best sprinters in the nation. He set Australian under-16 records with 10.57 seconds in the 100 meters and 21.14 seconds in the 200 meters. Each run came with whispers. This boy isn't just good, he could be world-class. Think about that. At an age where most kids worry about homework, Gout was rewriting national records. In March 2024, as a 16-year-old, Gout sprinted 10.29 seconds in Brisbane, a stunning time at the school level. That same year, he became Australian U20 champion in both the 100 meters and 200 meters. But the biggest shock came in the 200 meters. He ran 20.04 seconds, breaking the 1968 record held by Olympic silver medalist Peter Norman. That record had lasted 56 years. It also made Gout the second fastest under-18 sprinter ever in the world. Only one teenager had ever gone quicker. Later that year, he traveled to Lima, Peru, for the World U20 Championships. He won silver in the 200 meters, running 20.60 seconds, his first medal on the global stage. Would you believe a teenager could erase a record older than his parents? Gout did. By early 2025, it was official. Gout signed with Adidas, joining the ranks of world pros. It wasn't a surprise. Everyone saw it coming. In Perth, at the Australian U20 Championships, he ran the 200 meters in 19.84 seconds. It was the fastest ever for under 20, but the wind was too strong, so it didn't count officially. Still, what people remembered wasn't just the time. After the finish, his rival hugged him on the track. It showed respect. Even his competitors knew they had seen something historic. Then came June 2025 and the Golden Spike meet in Ostrava, Czech Republic. Gout ran the 200 meters in 20.02 seconds with legal wind. That broke both the Australian and Oceanian records. He beat Cuban sprinter Renier Mina by 0.17 seconds, calm, controlled, and fast, on one of Europe's most famous tracks. Former sprinter John Stephenson explained why Gout looks so unique. He seems to float when he runs. His stiff ankles carry speed forward even when others slow down. Most athletes take years to master this. For Gout, it's natural. And after Ostrava, his words were as calm as his stride. I don't feel any pressure. I just go out there and run. In July 2025, Gout debuted at the Diamond League Hercules meet in Monaco. He ran the 200 meters in 20.10 seconds into a strong -1.9 headwind and still won the under-23 race. It was his first Diamond League outing, from school tracks to the world stage in just a year. Then the biggest headline yet, August 23, 2025. At a GPS school meet in Queensland, Gout ran 9.94 seconds in the 100 meters. It was hand-timed, so it won't be an official record, but it sent shockwaves everywhere. For context, Australia's national record is 9.93 seconds, set by Patrick Johnson in 2003. Gout's school meet run was just 0.01 seconds slower. Experts say hand timing is usually off by 0.2 to 0.3 seconds, but reports confirmed the run had a legal headwind. This wasn't a fluke. It was proof he's ready to officially break the 10-second barrier. Earlier in April 2025, he ran two 9.99-second 100-meter sprints in Perth, but both were wind-assisted. This time was different. It showed what's coming. His manager, James Templeton, called it a warm-up before the Tokyo World Championships. But fans know it was much more than that. Do you think his first official sub-10 will come in Tokyo or even sooner? All eyes are now on Tokyo, September 2025, where the World Championships will take place. Gout will not line up in the 100 meters, at least not yet. Instead, he's chosen to focus on the 200 meters, his strongest event. That decision puts him directly against sprinting royalty. Noah Lyles, the reigning world champion, and Letziel Tebogo, the young star from Botswana, who already has global medals to his name. For a teenager from Ipswich, stepping into that arena is both a massive challenge and an incredible opportunity. It's not just about winning, it's about learning how to handle the pressure of the biggest stage. Every stride in Tokyo will be measured, every performance compared to legends. But if Gout can hold his own, or even shock the world with a podium finish, it will confirm what many already suspect. The future of sprinting may belong to him. While Gout's performances on the track are turning heads, his fame is beginning to stretch far beyond athletics. In Australia, there's growing talk about him entering the AFL Grand Final Sprint, a fun but competitive race where football players test their raw speed over 100 meters. If Gout shows up, officials have joked they might need to give him a handicap, because against professional footballers, he'd be untouchable. This shows something bigger. Gout isn't just a track star anymore, he's becoming a household name. Kids are already pretending to be Gout Gout during school races. Sports commentators mention his name alongside national heroes. Even people who don't follow athletics are starting to recognize him. That kind of crossover is rare, and it proves Gout is more than a runner. He's becoming a cultural figure, someone whose appeal and story inspire people well beyond the track. Gout may be the brightest star, but he's not running alone into Australia's sprinting future. Another teenager, Thubel Philp, just 17 like Gout, has already shown her speed by setting an Australian U20 record in the 60 meters with 7.30 seconds. She also clocked 11.38 in the 100 meters, placing herself among the nation's best junior athletes of all time. Together, they represent something powerful, a new generation of Australian sprinters rising at the same time. For decades, Australia has been known more for swimming and cricket than for track and field. Now, with Gout and Philp leading the charge, that could change. Their combined success is building momentum and energy around sprinting in the country. But while Philp and others add depth to the field, it's Gout who holds the global spotlight. His times, his charisma, and his youth make him the clear face of this new era. Through it all, Gout is still a Year 12 student, balancing study, training, and global competition. But his dream is crystal clear. By the Brisbane 2032 Olympics, he wants double gold in both the 100 meters and 200 meters. It's not arrogance, it's focus. He's humble, grounded, but hungry. Coaches whisper he could finally deliver what Australia has waited decades for, a true global sprint champion. And with each race, that dream feels less like fantasy and more like destiny. So here's the reality. Gout's hand-timed 9.94 isn't official, but it's a promise. The barrier is about to fall. The only question is when and on which stage. Every time he races, we're watching history in motion.
Gout Gout has done the unthinkable, breaking the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters twice in one night.
This 17-year-old kid just walked onto a track at a school event that nobody was paying attention to. And within seconds, he shocked everyone with his speed. What happened next has the entire athletics world scrambling to understand what they just witnessed. So what happened on Friday, the 22nd of August in Queensland? Well, Gout lined up at a GPS, that's Great Public Schools, athletics competition, and absolutely torched the track. The hand-timed result showed 9.94 seconds, which is just 1/100th of a second off Patrick Johnson's Australian record of 9.93 that stood since 2003. Let me put that in perspective. This is a schoolboy event, and Gout almost broke a national record that's been untouched for over 2 decades. Now, here's the frustrating part for Gout. This incredible time won't officially count because it was hand-timed rather than electronically measured. Hand timing typically has a margin of error between 0.2 and 0.3 seconds. But even accounting for that, we're looking at a legitimate sub-10-second performance. The wind was believed to be legal too, which makes this even more impressive. James Templeton, Gout's manager, was quick to downplay the significance of the venue while acknowledging what this means for the bigger picture. Speaking to the Sydney Morning Herald, he said it was just a low-key event, but emphasized that it was good to get a run in and described it as a nice little warm-up that shows the form Gout is in for Tokyo in 3 weeks. Templeton made sure to mention that while it was hand-timed, it was still a race effort, and that's what matters in the weeks leading up to the World Championships. This isn't the first time Gout has gone under 10 seconds either. Back in April at the Australian Championships in Perth, he clocked identical times of 9.99 seconds in both his heat and the final. The cruel twist? Both times didn't count because of illegal tailwinds. So here we have a teenager who has now gone sub-10 3 times, and none of them have been officially recognized. His legal personal best still sits at 10.17 seconds from December last year, but here's what makes this Queensland performance so significant. Gout was using this as preparation for the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, which start on September 13th. He won't actually be running the 100 meters there. He's focusing entirely on his preferred event, the 200 meters. And there's good reason for that strategic decision. The 100 meters is currently his weaker event because he's notoriously slow out of the blocks. If he's running 9.94 in his weaker event, imagine what he might be capable of in the 200. Let's talk about those 200-meter credentials for a moment. Gout holds the Australian record at 20.02 seconds, which he set at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet in the Czech Republic back in June. That was his first senior race abroad and his first competition in Europe, and he absolutely dominated. He's also run a wind-assisted 19.84 to win the national title earlier this year, and at his Diamond League debut in Monaco, he cruised to victory in 20.1 seconds, despite facing a headwind of minus 1.9 meters per second. The comparisons to Usain Bolt are impossible to ignore, and they're not just based on times. Gout has the height, the long stride pattern, and that effortless dominance that made Bolt so captivating to watch. Even Bolt himself has noticed, sending Gout a direct message on Instagram saying, "He looks like young me after watching one of his races," but Gout is determined to carve out his own identity in the sport. The path that led Gout to this moment is pretty remarkable. His sprinting ability was first spotted by school coach Di Shepherd when he was just 13 years old. By 14, he was running 10.57 in the 100 meters to set an Australian under 16 record. At 15, he clocked 20.87 in the 200 to set another under 16 mark. In 2024, he won the Australian under-20 100-meter title with a time of 10.48 before securing silver in the 200 at the World Under-20 Championships in Lima. After winning both the 200 and 400 meters at the GPS Track and Field Championships in Queensland, Gout made the decision to turn professional and signed a sponsorship deal with Adidas. That move paid off immediately as he broke the Australian under-18 record and became only the second person in history to run faster than Bolt did in the under-18 200-meter category. But it's not just the 200 where Gout excels. His personal best collection reads like a greatest hits album: 6.98 in the 60 meters, 10.17 in the 100, 20.02 in the 200-200, and 46.20 in the 400. He's versatile across the sprint range, which is exactly what you'd expect from someone being compared to the greatest sprinter of all time. The timing of this Queensland performance couldn't be better. In 3 weeks, Gout will make his senior international debut at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, where he'll line up against the absolute best in the world. That means facing guys like Noah Lyles, the reigning world champion and Olympic 100-meter gold medalist, and Letziel Tebogo, who won Olympic 200-meter gold in Paris. Gout has already shown he's not intimidated by big names. Earlier this year, he joined Lyles at a training camp in the United States and then cheekily called out the American on his podcast, saying he was coming for him in Tokyo. Gout's excitement about the championships is evident in his recent comments. He said he's super excited to be picked to run the 200 in Tokyo at the World Championships, calling it what they've been aiming for. He's looking forward to being part of his first Australian senior team and is eager to see what he can do against the best of the best. The Australian sprint scene is experiencing something of a renaissance right now. Just a few months ago, Lachlan Kennedy became only the second Australian after Patrick Johnson to officially break the 10-second barrier when he ran 9.98 at the Kip Keino Classic in Kenya. Kennedy's achievement was significant because it was fully legal and official, joining Johnson in an exclusive club. With Gout consistently running sub-10 times, even if they haven't been officially ratified yet, Australia suddenly has serious depth in the sprint events. Looking ahead, Gout's schedule is absolutely packed with major competitions. After Tokyo, he's confirmed for the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland, which run from July 23rd to August 2nd. Commonwealth Games Australia boss Craig Phillips has indicated that Gout will likely run the 100 meters because it's early enough in the program that he can then compete at the World Junior Championships in Eugene, Oregon, just days later. There's even talk of him attempting the sprint double at the Commonwealth Games, which would be a massive draw for Australian athletics fans. What makes Gout's story even more compelling is how he's balancing everything. He's still attending Ipswich Grammar School, completing his Year 12 studies while training at an elite level and dealing with global media attention. Videos of his performances have gone viral online, and the interest in his career is only growing. Yet he's managed to stay grounded and focused on his development. The technical aspects of his recent performance tell us a lot about where he's headed. This was his third sub-10 clocking, which shows it's not a fluke. He's consistently capable of this level of speed. The fact that he's improving in the 100 meters, which he considers his weaker event due to his slow starts, suggests even bigger things are coming in the 200th. When he eventually transitions to full-time training after finishing school, the potential for improvement is enormous. His next major milestone is breaking the 20-second barrier in the 200 meters. Given his current form and the trajectory he's on, it seems like it's only a matter of time before he gets the right wind conditions to make that happen. The wind-assisted 19.84 he ran earlier this year shows he's already capable of sub-20 speed. He just needs Mother Nature to cooperate.
He gets up on Oos. He's out there a little bit wider now. Here's Aidan Murphy, but here comes Gout Gout. We knew we'd see this in the final 50, so let's watch the young superstar rise. He's flying. He will be Gout of this universe.
No one expected it. Not from Australia, not from a teenager, but then came Gout Gout and everything changed. Track and field has long been a showcase of the world's fastest. And usually, the spotlight stays on the same names, the same countries, the United States, Jamaica. But every now and then, someone steps into that light from a place no one was watching. That's exactly what Gout Gout did. A 17-year-old sprinter from Queensland, Australia, who shattered expectations and rewrote what was possible for a young athlete in the sport. His rise wasn't overnight, it wasn't handed to him, and it didn't begin with a gold medal or a big sponsorship deal. It started with a family fleeing conflict in South Sudan. Gout was born in Ipswich, Queensland in 2007, 2 years after his parents escaped war and began a new life in Australia. The name he carries, Gout, was a clerical error in translation. But in a twist of fate, that mistake would become one of the most talked about names in sprinting. In school, Gout was the kid who couldn't be caught. On the soccer pitch, it wasn't just his footwork that stood out, it was his speed. Coaches noticed, so did his teachers, and it didn't take long before a coach suggested he try running with intention. From that moment, the track became his new field. At 14, Gout made headlines across Australia. He ran 100 meters in 10.57 seconds, an absurd time for someone his age. No elite gear, no cutting-edge training, just raw talent and a relentless mindset.
He's putting the challenge down to Gout Gout and Josiah John out wide from WA. Josiah John, Gout Gout though now shows his class. Gout Gout from Queensland, 20.87. That is a national record.
A year later, he took it further, running the 200 meters in 20.87 seconds and shattering the under-18 national record. That performance marked him as more than a local prodigy. It marked him as a national phenomenon. But that was just the start. In August 2024, the world saw him on an international stage for the first time. At the World U20 Championships in Lima, he sprinted to a silver medal in the 200 meters at just 16 years old. The margin between him and gold? Less than a blink. But even without first place, he left with something more important: global attention. Analysts began to include his name in conversations about future Olympic contenders. Then came December 2024, and what followed wasn't just a breakthrough, it was a statement.
So we're away, a really good start there, and now starts to move through his Gout Gout. So the Queenslander, he hasn't even touched the ground yet, the young man, and he's boomed away here in the heats, and he's gone. 10.05. How do you do, Gout Gout? That is absolutely unbelievable.
At the Australian All-Schools Championships, Gout ran a wind-assisted 100 meters in 10.04 seconds.